Hi, so this article on Fansided was only released 2 hours ago, but this article and many others like it, it's just complete trash. It is embarrassing. I can't believe that a journalist produced anything like this. I'm going to give you 2 reasons why. Number one is a modern depiction of good versus evil. This doesn't make any sense. What this journalist is trying to say is that we live in a more complex world where young people can be good and evil. Now, that may be true, but that is really immaterial. It doesn't matter because Star Wars is based on leadership. And if you take modern leaders, whether it's Julius Caesar, Winston Churchill, Adolf Hitler, Presidents of America, George Bush, Barack Obama, Donald Trump, these people use conviction. They make a decision and they stick by it. They don't waver between what's good and what's evil. They make a decision and they stick to it, and that's what leadership is. So when you start to make movies where you've got characters, 1 minute they're good, and then they're evil. They're not decisive characters. They're not leaders. People don't want to watch wishy-washy characters moving from one side to the other because it's totally irrelevant and boring. People want to watch movies of leaders. People like leaders. They like Batman. Batman makes a decision and he sticks to it. His whole persona is his character, or Superman, or Spider-Man. If you have characters that move from one side to the other and they're trying to explore their good versus evil in one single character, it just leads to a trashy movie because that is not what people want to see. People want to see leadership in the characters that they enjoy, and this has been seen through fiction throughout the history of fiction. Now there may be some characters in some certain settings where they expose their good versus evil in their character arc. That's not what happens in science fiction. You might have a very specific constructed environment where you can explore that, but it doesn't happen in a war zone where you've got people trying to kill each other with battleships. And to try and put that into Star Wars element, it's ridiculous. What made Star Wars so popular was the decisiveness. You know, that you've got Darth Maul, you've got Darth Vader. These are highly decisive people or leaders who have made this decision on what they want to do, and they stick to it. So having characters moving from one side to the other, it's just ridiculous. It's not going to make good entertainment. Another point is, let me try and find it. I can't believe this. Now here it is. The reality is Star Wars is growing. It may be time to move beyond the Force. That could be a discussion. You might be able to move into a new era of Star Wars. That could. I think many fans would be open to that. But the idea that Star Wars is growing, that is ridiculous. Okay, so Star Wars, The Force Awakens, box office, $2.05 billion. The Last Jedi, $1.3 billion. So $700 million less than the first film. If The Last Jedi was a good film, it would have carried on many of those fans from the first film. And now you might expect a certain drop off, but the DVD Blu-ray sales crashed from the second movie because all the reviews came out on the Last Jedi. Everyone discussed how poor it was, how it kind of ruined Star Wars, and the DVD and the Blu-ray and DVD sales. So there's real proof that Star Wars isn't growing. And again, Rogue One, which is the first spin-off movie, that made $1.05 billion. And it's a well-respected movie. Many people like it. It's not the greatest Star Wars movie, but it's generally well liked. Solo, on the other hand, completely crashed at $393 million. So that's less than half of the first spin-off movie. If Star Wars was growing, these movies wouldn't be crashing in sales. The Blu-ray sales between one movie and a second movie wouldn't crash. Now you might say that Blu-ray, nobody's buying Blu-rays, but other movies sold around The Last Jedi, their Blu-ray sales were still very impressive. So when people try to say that Star Wars is growing, what is growing about Star Wars? Because the box office tickets revenue isn't growing, and if that's not growing, then what is growing? Is the story growing? The Star Wars has been growing for many years. There's been many different books, iterations, animations, cartoons, comics. So that's continued to grow for many years since Star Wars originated nearly 40 years ago. So what is great about Star Wars is that the stupidity and the idea that you can have good and bad characters who explore their inner beliefs and makes them appear just wishy-washy, confused characters like Kylo Ren was, where one minute he's good, then he's bad, then he's good, then he's bad. That's not leadership. That's not decisive characters that people are drawn to. People are drawn to people like Winston Churchill or Adolf Hitler. They may not be good characters, they may be bad, they may be good, but because they're decisive, that's what people are drawn to. It's like this naturally drawn towards leaders. We want to watch leaders in our movies. So when you see articles like this, just complete trash. And the reason why these articles exist is because this Meg Dowd, what she wants a ticket to premiere the Star Wars movie. She's not interested about writing articles that actually explain what's happening and researching and talking to Star Wars fans. God forbid these journalists actually communicate with Star Wars fans and actually do some research. I mean, if you go through this article, there's absolutely no research or factual information that explores what is happening. It is just absolute nonsense. So when she says Star Wars is growing, could she please explain what is growing about Star Wars? That would be an interesting article. If she's going to try and say the interest in Star Wars is growing, where's that happening? Because it's not in the revenue. We've seen at the box office that the films have started to decline already. So it's just complete trash, and it's just astonishing. And here she says, "Bad Kylo." What the hell does that mean? Is Kylo a 5-year-old who spilt his milk? It's just ridiculous. Would you have someone saying like, "Bad Darth Vader"? Darth Vader is like one of the most dangerous and feared characters of all time. That's the sort of character people are drawn to. They're not drawn to wishy-washy Kylo Ren. So this is just trash.